The volume of a solid region, if f is integrable over a plane region R, and your function is greater than or equal to 0 for all x and y in the region, then the volume of the solid region lies above region R and below the graph of f, and it is calculated by integrating over your region the function of two variables, and this differential d of a can either be dx dy or dy dx. Whichever makes the integration a little bit milder or easier will also help on deciding which way to order your differentials. Example, consider the solid region bounded by the plane 2 minus x minus 2y and the three coordinate planes, which are the xy plane, that would be the floor, the xz plane, it would be like the left wall of a corner, and the yz plane, which would be the back wall. Again, this would be a corner at the bottom of the room. If we let x and y both be 0, then z is equal to 2, and again I use this function up here. Then x, y are both 0, z was 2, that gives us this coordinate. If we let x and z both be 0, then we have y equals 1 if you were to solve this out. So we have the point 0, 1, 0. And then finally letting y and 0 both be 0, y and z both be 0, then we get x equals 2. Each vertical cross section taken parallel to the YZ plane, and again YZ plane is the back wall here. If we go parallel to this, I just drew a triangle here that is parallel to the back wall, and I'm going to let it be a cross section taken parallel to the YZ plane in a triangular region whose base has a length of, and that's something we got to work on. Now this triangle, we know the area of a triangle is 1/2 times the base times height. The base part is on the XY plane. The XY plane is the floor. So z is equal to 0 in that case. Solving for y, that gives us 2 minus x all over 2. And think of it this way. I move negative 2y over, so it's 2y equals 2 minus x, divided both sides by 2, y equals 2 minus x all over 2. The height is on the xz plane, so that tells us that y is 0. Go to our function, substituting in 0, z equals 2 minus x. Now, y and z are both in terms of x. And so when I go to the next slide, we can calculate the area as 1/2 times the base. That was the bottom of the triangle. We solved it as 2 minus x over 2. And then z represents the height, and that was 2 minus x. So a is equal to 2 minus x quantity squared over 4. And we can call that a of x. That's area in terms of x. Our volume is going to be the integral from a to b of our area of our cross section, which will be the integral from 0 to 2. Remember, in our x direction, that's the triangle that went forward and backwards, the shape. Our x coordinate maxed out at 2, minimum was at 0. So integral from 0 to 2 of our cross section, integrating with respect to x. What I'm doing here is I'm going to pull this 4 out, make it 1/4. FOIL 2 minus x times another 2 minus x, 4 minus 4x plus x squared, and integrating that with respect to x. So we're going to get 1/4 4x minus 2x squared plus 1/3 x cubed, evaluate at 2 and 0. 0 is just going to be a clean sweep of 0, so subbing in 2, we get 1/4. This comes out to 8/3, which will be a grand total of 2/3. Recall that y was 2 minus x over 2. That was the base of our triangle. It was in the y direction. You can also get the area by integrating from 0 to 2 minus x over 2 in the y direction, taking your entire two variable function. It will need to be in terms of y though. Integrate with respect to y. So we get 2y minus xy minus 2/3, 2y squared over 2, the 2's cancel. Now subbing in our top limit for y, this x will stay open. We get this 2 minus x can be factored out, leaving the single y, making a replacement that's 2 minus x times 2 minus x over 2, and that's what I wrote here, minus 2 minus x over 2 quantity squared, which will be 2 minus x squared over 4. If I double up here, creating a common denominator of 4, 2 of these minus 1 of them will be 2 minus x quantity squared over 4. Our volume can also be calculated with an iterated integral. In the x direction, we go from 0 to 2. In the y direction, we went 0 to 2 minus x over 2. And again, you work them inside out. Fubini's theorem says we can let f be a continuous function on a plane region R if that region is defined by x between two constant values, and y is trapped between two functions where g1 and g2 are continuous on the interval from a to b. Then our dA differential can be ordered as dy dx, dx on the outside, so you integrate a to b on the outside. Then our lower and upper limit for y will be g sub 1 of x, g sub 2 of x, and we integrate our function of two variables over this one first and then that one second. And this would be a region where you would put like a representative strip vertically. If we turn that horizontally, where region R is defined by a y value between two constants, and x is trapped between some continuous function on the right and a continuous function, continuous function on the left, continuous function on the right, where h sub 1 and h sub 2 are continuous on our interval from C to D. Then we can reorder and we can integrate with respect to x first, h1 on bottom, h2 on top for our lower and upper limit, integral limits, and then our y variable, which runs from C to D. Let's evaluate the function 1 minus 1/2 x squared minus 1/2 y squared, where we have a region R defined as x between 0 and 1 inclusive, and y between 0 and 1 inclusive. Over here to your left, that's just a square from 0 to 1 in the x and y direction. I am just choosing a vertical strip delta x, which means I'll put dx on the outer and the integral limits of x on the outside as well. Let's integrate this function with respect to y, working inside out. We're going to get y minus 1/2 x squared y minus 1/6 y cubed. evaluated at 1 and 0. 0 gives us a clean sweep of 0. So subbing in a 1, we get 1 minus 1/6, that's 5/6, minus 1/2 x squared times 1, that's negative 1/2 x squared. Now we can integrate with respect to x from 0 to 1, and that'll be this way. 5/6 x minus 1/6 x cubed, evaluated at 1, comes out to 4/6, which reduces to 2/3. Again, a 0 through here, clean sweeps 0. Let's find the volume of the solid region bounded by the surface e to the negative x squared and the plane z equals 0, y equals 0, y equals x, and x equals 1. If we choose vertically simple, then our x variable, and I've sketched in here, this is the xy plane, z is equal to 0. So I sketched the xy plane, drew in y equals x, but only from 0 to 1. So we're going to start the origin, end up at the point 1, 1. Remember, if we use a vertical strip, dx goes outside, and the limit from 0 to 1, representing the x direction, also goes out here on the outside. Now our y variable on the inside, that is from 0 to wherever our line y equal x cuts us off. So 0 to x in the y direction. Option 2 would be to take a horizontal strip, and then dy is on the outside, and the limit will be set from 0 to 1 in the y direction. The x direction, the right, is the line x equals 1. The left border will be set by x equals y. So remember, if you do a horizontally simple, it's right and left. Okay, so let's integrate. This is the challenging part, though. If we tried to integrate this with respect to x, since we don't have a 2x down here, or even an x, we can't use anything like u substitution. We'd have to use like a computer program to get an antiderivative. If we choose option 1, where we integrate with respect to y first, since this is in terms of only x, this is considered a constant, just like a number 7, and all you'd have to do is stick a y on it. So option 1 is the better route to take because it's easier to get that inside integral this way compared to that way. All right, so let's use option 1. With respect to y, our antiderivative is e to the negative x squared times y, evaluated at x and 0. Only the y catches the x and 0. So that's going to be e to the negative x squared times x minus e to the negative x squared times 0, which is 0. So our antiderivative evaluated at x and 0 gives us x e to the negative x squared dx. Now we're in good shape because with e, if your derivative of your power exists in the rest of your problem, then it's pretty easy to integrate. The derivative of our power will be a negative 2x. We already have the x, so if we stick in a negative 2 to make it all come together, remember to balance it out with a negative 1/2. You can give, but you got to take. Now, because the derivative of the power is present, we can take the antiderivative and just get e to the negative x squared. Don't forget this negative 1/2 that balanced it out. Evaluated at 1, that's negative 1/2 times e to the negative 1 squared minus e to the negative 0 squared. Don't dismiss that as 0 because e to a 0 power is 1. So we get e to the negative 1, which is 1 over e, minus e to the 0, which is 1, negative half times both of those. You can leave your answer in this format, it's just fine. If you distribute, you can have a positive half minus 1 over 2e. Totally up to you if you go this far, or if you go this far. You can even go as far as giving that first fraction an e top and bottom, and then you would have e minus 1. Whoops. I picked the wrong option there. Here we go. If you wanted to, nothing says you got to do it. And then you can give it a common denominator of 2e. That is totally up to you. Definition: if f is integrable over the plane region R, then the average value of f over the region is given by this formula. 1 over a, where a is the area of the region, times the double integral of f of xy with respect to the area. Again, that can be dx dy or dy dx. Example, find the average value of the function 1/2 xy over the region R, where R is a rectangle with vertices 0, 0, 4, 0, 4, 3, and 0, 3. It doesn't hurt to sketch these out. Our region is this rectangle. The rectangle has an area of 3 by 4 for an area of 12. That tells us that 1/12 will be the lead coefficient. 1 over a, 1 over 12. It really doesn't matter in this case which variable you integrate first. Just make sure that whatever you pick, if you put your dx differential on the outside, then the x limits need to go on the outside. And then your y and your y. So just make sure those match up. Antiderivative with respect to y is going to be 1/2 x y squared over 2. Now, let's think about that. Y squared over 2. I'll tell you what I did first. I pulled that half out and made it 1 over 24. Here we go. So the antiderivative, just to be clear, I moved 1/2 out, multiplied 1 over 24. Everything else stayed the same. Antiderivative with respect to y, it's going to be x y squared over 2. 3 goes in for only the y. Remember, that differential tells you which letter gets the substitution. So that's 9x over 2 minus 0 subbed in just creates a big 0. Move 9 halves out. That's 9 over 48, which reduces to 3/16. And then now we can have 3/16 times x squared over 2, evaluated at 4 and 0. The 0, again, that causes a 0, so no worries. Plug a 4 in, that's 16 over 2, which is 8. 3/16 times 8 is 3/2, and that is the average value of this function over this region. I hope these examples help. Keep an eye on Google Drive for homework hints. And if you need anything, reach out by phone, email, stop by the office, and I'll do what I can to help you out.